Good late Tuesday, early Wednesday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that operator perspective as we're looking at things there in toward those early Wednesday hours per se. You see some shower activity there off toward the areas there in the coastal waters off the first coast, especially, but some even around those first coast counties, Duval, St. John's, around the St. John's River, even in the Clay County there as well. So definitely noteworthy. I know, speaking of even more noteworthy, we did have over the last 12 hours or so a good bit of precip around Palatka, even some flooding there toward parts of Putnam County. Not a flash flood warning situation, but still 4 or 5 inches according to radar there around Palatka. So that's definitely concerning for those folks. You see some more issues with heavy rainfall in parts of Levy County, close toward Bronson, 3+ inches, Chiefland, just east of town, especially around 3 inches of rain according to radar estimates. That definitely does tell that weather story as we look at things. I know, let's go ahead and pop up this current temperatures here again. You do see as about those 1 a.m., and 1:30 a.m. Hours there per se. You can kind of see what we're doing with looking like about 75 degrees around Keystone. I know where I'm at here east of Stark, 76 degrees, 78 at Jacksonville International Airport, 81 around Tallahassee Airport. So kind of telling that weather story as we're looking at things. Definitely interesting to do that there as we kind of give you an idea of what's going on. I know there's a lot of moisture just around in the overall pattern, and that's going to stick around as we look ahead in toward that timeline. That's going to be something to follow here as we do so. I know the tropics, though, have been very quiet, really, as we look at that name list. I know that second Florida disaster preparedness sales tax holiday does continue a little bit longer, but we've only had 5 named storms, and we're now past Labor Day. That's great news. That's what we want to see here for sure. We did have, of course, a couple hurricane landfalls in the U.S., though, barrel toward Houston and an area with Debbie, so it has not been a quiet, season, just, as we're looking, and that it has been impactful in some ways, but it is not, getting even to the average number storms maybe here as you're kind of looking, so far. We're expected to be way above average here as we get to the end of the season. May end up not really getting, above average, but still there's plenty of time left here. And that only takes one storm. We'll definitely have more storms out there. Just nothing that's really showing a medium or high sense of development right now. Things can change very quickly, as we saw even with Debbie here in the tropics. Even as a matter of a day or two, models can completely shift around on you. I know there is a little bit of something I'm watching toward the Gulf here. Some of them high-risk models are picking up on something here. We already have that moisture around, and maybe something spins up out of that. The Hurricane Center doesn't really have anything about that in the northern Gulf of Mexico, but we'll watch that. But next name on the list is Francine, and then Gordon after that. So really calm in terms of being around Labor Day compared to what we were expecting here, but doesn't mean that things couldn't change, or doesn't mean that one storm, isn't a problem. We already did have Debbie. Debbie was a pretty big deal, honestly. I mean, nothing, to the level of a Dahlia, or as we're close to the anniversary of Dora in 64. We're going to be on that here soon, the 60th anniversary. Nothing like that. Nothing like Irma, which that anniversary is coming up, the 7-year anniversary of that coming up in about a week as well. So that is interesting to know. But as we go ahead and see the tropical climatology here, I know kind of just making note of that. I mean, you expect to have named storms out there this time of year in the Atlantic Basin. But we don't have any right now. We'll take it. We'll definitely take it. But again, things can change quick. You can even have, storms that are pretty weak. But that can still be, rainmakers, flood problems. As we go ahead and see that rainfall forecast, you see there's going to be a lot of rain around the next 7 days. Right now, the forecasts are not for this to be tropical in origin, but wouldn't completely rule it out that we get something out of this. Again, Hurricane Center doesn't have anything, even if it doesn't, develop in anything named. We'll have more flooding around, it would seem, across parts of our region, especially in northern Florida. Southeast Florida watching a little more closely maybe than, southwest or south central Florida, but they'll be watching some here too. Some of those areas in orange, I mean, that's showing you on average there, around 5 inches of rain. So that's still noteworthy here next 7 days. So remember, turn around, don't drown, not turn the logo red. the situation, but still quite a bit of rain around. You see that moisture effect extending all the way off toward the Texas coast, Louisiana coast. You kind of get the idea. I know you can go to clutter.com/radar for an interactive look at things when we're, you know, on the air or not on the air. And as I said this to you too, I know college football in action. It was in action last weekend, and for some teams in action this weekend. Could have some issues with that toward the University of Florida. We shall see. I know, quite honestly, it's going to probably be a tough season for them, just like it's already a tough season for FSU. And that game against Samford would probably be their easiest win of the year. So they'll really want to try to get that game in there on Saturday night if they can. The way this pattern is, even though I'm going to say really high rain chances, the pattern, if you wait long enough, you should be okay. But, if it comes, the storms do, thunderstorms at the wrong time, you definitely could have some impacts here. Now, they had a game years ago that got rained out, a night game, I believe, maybe about 10 years ago or so, down toward Gainesville. So anything could happen, but so we'll see what happens here. When I say rained out, I mean, of course, there's thunderstorm activity around, and it's not just going to take rain. You have to have thunderstorm activity. It's not like baseball. You have thunderstorm activity around. I mean, even if there's quite a bit of rain, not necessarily going to delay things. I mean, of course, there's any rain, not even just flooding rain, would delay baseball. But this is football we're talking about. I think Florida State wish it was baseball season. At least finishing in the, higher, ranking, level. I want to say top 4, but I don't think the final ranking's quite headed like that. But as we're looking at things, I know Florida just what a mess there for that team, for the Gators this year. I mean, honestly, depending on how good Miami is, and that's a big if early in the year. I mean, Florida looked like a team that might only win, maybe just a few games this year. I mean, I'm talking about like 2 or 3 games all season. And FSU, not that much better. I mean, looking like a team that might win only about 5 games this year, maybe 6. Like quarterback position for FSU, looking like you feel bad. You feel bad for DJ Uiagalelei, but it's looking like it might be time to get some of the younger guys more experience here for the Seminoles. I mean, after last year going 13-0, having an unconquered season all the way through the ACC title game, and then being told by the College Football Playoff Committee that it didn't matter, that everything they did was for nothing, pretty much. I mean, and they pretty much ignored it. And they had this, they had the win against OSU there at the neutral side in Orlando. Not, it's more FSU, favored maybe in the crowd, but nonetheless, I mean, they beat the Heisman winner, blew out LSU. They, just took care of business week after week, won every game, and not really. I mean, except for that Clemson game, something that was really just a dramatic finish. That BC game is pretty close to last year's I'm talking about. But I mean, they did so great, Jordan Travis, and it was clear, even if Tate Rodemaker wasn't quite as good as Jordan Travis, didn't have quite as much experience, not near as much obviously, that he could get the job done. He could have beat Michigan. He probably would have. He probably would have beat Washington. Texas, I think, would have been more of a toss-up, but Washington beat Texas, so they would have beat Alabama. Georgia would have been the one that, even with FSU at full strength, with the Rodemaker there, outside of Travis, of course, at full strength, then that would have been the game I thought FSU would have still lost, and they wouldn't lose by 60 points. They'd have lost by maybe a field goal, touchdown, maybe 10 points, something like that. But Georgia didn't earn that spot in the playoffs there, so, I mean, and FSU did. They deserved it, and now, honestly, it could set the football program back many years. I mean, it honestly could be something, like a NCAA sanction. I mean, look at SMU back in the 80s. There, were situations there where there were allegations and then there ended up being consequences. Nothing in terms of allegations to keep FSU out of the college football playoff last year. But that penalty was so severe, so devastating, so crippling for the program. And, it could be a situation where, It's going to impact FSU for the rest of the decade, football-wise anyway. Okay, so they're not playing FSU this weekend. They're off. They'll be playing Memphis. Coach Norvell's old team next weekend will be coming down. We're not too certain of weather for that at this point. And then you'll be watching the Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Miami taking on the Miami Dolphins there on Sunday on CBS at 1 o'clock. See if some storms impact that. Of course, high school football could be an issue. Some areas probably have impacts Friday night. Hope we get lucky. We've been kind of lucky so far. I mean, really lucky in many spots. But this week, might have some more issues here with some delays. But depends, some of these storms may not have lightning. May not have lightning around. And that's, what you're looking for the delay in most cases. In some areas, maybe the storms to kind of fade in time for the games. But other areas might not be as lucky as I know. We've been watching this, pattern here. I've been watching the weather pattern, looking here off the coast, here off the first coast. We've even had some landscapes, no tornado warnings, no severe thunderstorm warning, no flash flood warning, nothing like that. But it's been an interesting pattern. It's going to kind of be, something that stays kind of interesting. We'll be on guard just in case coming on the air here as necessary to protect you, your friends, and your family. And again, looking at things here, you see Apalachicola, maybe Jacksonville, Fernandina Beach, quite a bit of rain there, quite a bit of precip, that value there, just adding up to many rain gauges here across the viewing circle. So that's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on here as we're tracking things overall. As we're looking at the overall situation, and as we're seeing things though, I know University of Florida, that game could have weather issues. FSU's off to regroup hopefully and get better, and that could be another loss against Memphis. I mean, SMU is going to be a tough team. I mean, Cal even could be an issue. FSU, I mean, I'm being optimistic, maybe 6 wins, because there are some serious concerns about, about how the team has played the last couple of games. But again, a lot of the guys, I mean, they moved on to the NFL. Other guys went in the transfer portal. They said, well, we have a perfect season, 13-0. I mean, we do everything right, and it's just demoralizing. Let's go ahead and look here now. Toward that covered area. Of course, we're always on for any tornado warning storm within the 62 counties here. We're in Bradford County, and you can see Duval County, St. Johns County. We've been on for all these over the last almost 5 years now, giving you the latest and making sure on for every single one. We have Facebook, at KC Cloud WX, Cloud Weather, Twitter/X at Cloud KC, giving you that live stream as needed. I know you have YouTube there at Cloud Weather, you have Twitch Cloud Weather, and then the website cloudweather.com. So trying to keep things safe, in terms of you guys being aware of those severe weather dangers. So definitely important to do that here as we're tracking things, as we're giving you the very latest here. You're just trying to make sure you're staying informed, obviously, as we track the overall situation. As we do that for you guys there at home. Excuse me, just checking here to see if there's any questions or comments. Don't see anything right now. Of course, we still have some of those flood warnings around, so that's something to kind of keep our eyes on. And then you can see that planning forecast there. 60% chance of rain on that Wednesday, 70% on Thursday, Friday. Pretty high up, on that scale per se. So it's something to kind of keep our eyes on there as we're tracking things, as we're monitoring that Doppler technology. Obviously, you have a 70% chance on Saturday. I mean, 60 on Sunday, 60% on Monday, down to 50% though on that Tuesday. But you see those temperatures a little below average generally because of all that moisture, that cloud cover, and breezy around. Something to kind of keep our eyes on there as well. Those low temperatures there. Well, you see 74 for Wednesday, but following some this pattern here, it's just going to be kind of a cloudy, stormy one here at times, and the average lows will fall some. So something to kind of keep our eyes on just overall here, seeing the weather picture for you guys here across our region. Always intriguing as we look at all the latest information, all that latest information for you guys, the viewers at home. Let me go ahead and pull back up here toward the Doppler radar, just trying to let you guys know how things were looking there. This is what, if you're watching live, well, it's about 1:50 in the morning here, and giving you that view. Those storms toward Duval, Clay, St. John's. When I say storms, some of it doesn't, the accent doesn't have lightning, but areas, do. So just got to be cognizant of that as we're looking here at the very latest. So again, just trying to give you the latest here. Trying to give you the very latest. Try to keep you guys safe here. Make sure we're on top of all the latest details, obviously, as things do require us to. Just so important to do all that here. And make sure you guys are, weather aware, weather informed, per se, here, as things do require. So, again, I just kind of taking care of all that. Again, I will go ahead and pull up here those graphics one more time. That says extended forecast there for you guys, viewers at home. You see 88, 87, 86, 85, and then one back up a little early next week. But quite a bit of moisture around. Remember, turn around, don't drown. If you have some flooding concerns, things can, escalate fairly quickly here. If we get some significant flooding, flash flooding will be on, of course. But hopefully, we don't have a situation that gets to that level. But with this much rain in this period, it could at some point. So just be aware of that. And we'll be here for you. Of course, the next one update late Thursday. But otherwise, just go to clearly.com in the meantime. And then if we need to pop back in before then, of course we will. Because it's all about protecting you. All about protecting your friends. All about protecting your family. As I know, looking here just at the region right now, just checking things, and the thunderstorm still potential. And we'll be monitoring all that action for you, but otherwise, have a great night.